Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Beatrice Hyppolite and this is your world.
The dude coming back from prison gets more attention and support from the community than the one that came back from college.
You know what? It's funny you mentioned that. I have a coworker, we always have that conversation. And I remember, when I first came to this country in 2003, and it was sometimes in 2004 or 5, I was at that beauty salon, to have my hair done. And there were like about 5 girls who came to have their hair done as well. And they were talking about that party. So it was like, sometimes they were using, I didn't know those because I didn't speak English at that time. And they were like, the party was gonna be lit and things like that. And somebody inquired the reason why, what the party was for. And it was for a boy who was getting out of prison. They didn't use the word prison.
Coming home.
They say he was coming home from upstate. So, but at that time, me being new to the country and being silly in my head, I thought it was a college.
Yeah, and you have a right to feel that way.
Because,
It's party, we're celebrating.
No, because it's like, bear in mind, I was born and raised in Haiti.
Right.
Back home, if you didn't go to jail for political reason, then you have to disappear. The community will not want you.
Right.
So we don't celebrate that back home. And for me to be exposed and experience that for the first time, where a black man coming from jail will be celebrated that way. So I didn't know. I thought it was like somebody who just graduated from college and it was when like few people started laughing. They're like, where you get from?
Yeah, you know what though? See, that's another thing. I find our community very interesting because there's so many dynamics, so many intertwining, overlapping truths and falsehoods that we should celebrate our people coming back from prison. We should. He did his time, right? He's coming home. We should celebrate that person. Because that's a whole nother, that's probably a third episode, is what do we do with our black men that's coming home? How do we help them navigate, being able to pick up the pieces after they come back from prison because they don't have a lot of opportunities. That prevents recidivism because they keep going back in because they come back out and there's nothing for them. So the community coming behind them to help them is a good thing. However, can we keep that same energy for those coming back from college that come back with degrees? Like, it should be both. Both could be true.
And I agree with you 100%. But Mr. Bennett, so I'm not trying to be hard on those who had coming out from prison. At the same token, if the community really wanted to celebrate, there is nothing wrong to celebrate somebody, that person probably served time for something that he didn't do.
Right.
Things happen all the time.
And sometimes we
or
things,
some,
or you do things that we did it and we
you do things, that's life. So it's like, hey, I'm glad that you're out and you're gonna learn from that mistake. Right. But if I had the money, I know you've been out for 10 years or 8 years or what have you, it's gonna be a complete restart for you. Right. So after the community throw that party, what's next?
What's next? Right. Or should we be throwing a party, or should we just use that money that we put the party to build the resources for that person to come and be able to pick their pieces back?
Yeah, because you're gonna need to reintegrate in society.
And this world is not set up for that reintegration. So I think that we as a community, as social workers, that's also a thing, right?
And to address the second part of those who graduated from college or are being seen differently or treating differently from,
or just ignore it.
So I feel like sometimes it's like, oh, now so I should be feeling a certain way just because I graduated from college.
Yes, you should. And your community should, your family should. But instead, that person gets hated on. Now, let's make it clear, I'm generalizing. It is a generalization. This doesn't happen in all families and all communities. We're just generalizing here. Make that clear. But yes, this happens. You know, people hate on the guy coming back from college. They're like, oh, so you think you're big stuff because you got a degree? Yes, I am big stuff because I got a degree.
Because it really takes a lot.
Yeah,
it takes a lot.
Yes, can we support?
Degree.
Yeah, can we support? So it's both are true. Mm-hmm. Both are true. We should balance it, and we need to act according to.
That's the key word. Balance.
Yes.
You know,
that's
the key word. Okay, next question. How can we create a safe and supportive environment for Black boys to discuss their mental health?
What we're saying, you know, I think some of the things we mentioned already, like I think more Black men, Black people in general, but Black men needs to become social workers and become therapists, become psychologists and psychiatrists. You know, we need more of us there. That's one way. Two, the community. The community need to get together. We need to be more supportive, be more open, create an environment where Black boys can feel safe to express themselves.
Why do you think it is important that we have to have more Black therapists to address our Black boys' issues?
Because I don't think, and again, this is an overgeneralization, I'm going to recognize that, but I don't think that a non-Black person understands what we're going through. Especially, and sometimes I will even go as far as to say, I don't think in all cases, Black women know what Black men are going through. So I'm not saying Black women are incapable of being proper social workers and proper therapists. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that sometimes even our women don't know what we go through. So it's important that Black men, you know, the proper Black men, because, you know.
So do you believe that it's because, you know, those young Black men, you know, will feel more comfortable to reveal to the same sex? I'm just trying to understand your point.
I do think that. I think that young Black boys will feel more comfortable seeing a successful Black man there who can show, because a lot of times.
So they can have a man-to-man conversation.
Yeah, absolutely, and understand what he's going through when he's going through puberty, when he's talking about sex. You know, that's something that is important. You know, Black boys should feel comfortable to be able to talk about sex, and he might not feel that comfortable with a woman talking, but a Black man. And also, again, more generalization. A lot of times, Black boys need to show and prove. We need to see. You know, so having a white therapist say, "I think that you know, selling drugs on the street is not a good thing." You know, and then it's like, well, what evidence do you have of what you're saying? This is what the argument can be, right? I see no evidence that me getting a job working for someone is going to make me successful. What evidence do you have, white lady? You know, but if it's a Black man there who has gone through, who has experience, he's probably been in a similar situation when he was younger with sitting next to a Black boy. He can say, I've been where you've been, and this is what I did with my life. This is how I am. This is my experience. This is my life. This is where I am. I'm showing and proving just by sitting here in front of you. It's showing, proving that you can do it. You know what I mean? If he has a house, you know, not that material things make the man, but if he have a successful house and that's where his therapy sessions are held, he's in his house and like, you can have this.
But Mr. Bennett, for the fact that I have not experienced certain things or live that life, it doesn't mean that I cannot offer or assist.
You
know, it's like, for example, I may not have any children, but it doesn't mean that I don't have great parental skills.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree with you. And again, it's not to say, again, it was a generalization, not to say that even a white woman couldn't be a good therapist to a Black boy. That's not what I'm saying. You know, I just think that we just need more Black men in the business, you know, and to deal with our boys. And I'm not saying that Black men are the only path, because I know plenty of successful and competent Black women who could do it, who will do the job. But I just think that we need more representation. Representation is important.
I agree with you because culturally, when you have a Haitian person come to therapy, the minute that they,
connection.
they found out there is somebody, who speak Creole,
Yeah,
that's the person they want to see.
that's a connection.
Because they know that certain things that I remember I had that experience where I've seen somebody, because there was some ACS situation going on, but it seemed that the child claimed that she got beaten. The mother, when she came and found that I was Asian, oh, Miss Hyppolite, back home.
Right.
I'm like,
Exactly.
I don't want to go into detail, so it's like, but culturally, I see where she was coming from, but what you live in your culture is not the same as this culture.
Right.
And you have to be able to make a difference and live according to the culture that you are living in.
Absolutely. And, representation matters. It doesn't matter. I mean, the school I work at, it's a predominantly Asian community. But there are some, but it's still, they're very sensitive to diversity in my school, which is a good thing. And whenever there's a Black child who's going through something, a teacher, sometimes they call me. That's not even my student. They call me and it's like, can you help me with this Black boy? And of course it helps. It does help. Representation matters.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. My next question. How can we incorporate cultural strength and values into mental health support services for Black boys?
Coming from Brooklyn, New York, right, and being having this be my main area, we know that Flatbush is a Caribbean heavy neighborhood, and I think that these types of things matter. We incorporating this, like the story you just told me, right? the having West Indian culture embodied in the actual services that we provide is important, so that a young Black boy who may be West Indian can feel comfortable, and vice versa. Having somebody from the South, having somebody who might be Southern culture, because we are a diverse people. You always hear the term, we're not a monolith, but it's true, we're not. And having all of these places, all these things baked into the soil of the programs that we're creating is important. Being able to come in here, and you could be from anywhere. I could be from Trinidad. Or my parents could be from Trinidad, or from Haiti, or from Mississippi, or from California, and being able to come to this place that has a program for us, and you could still feel at home. It's important, and not even just culturally, but even mentally, like even spiritually, right? You can have different spiritual beliefs is welcomed here. It shouldn't be this is a Christian thing or a Muslim thing, or it's a place where no matter what your religion is, you could feel comfortable.
Welcoming.
Yeah, feel welcoming. If you're a nerd, right? That's not a cultural thing, but that's a mental mentality, right? That's another thing. That could be a whole nother episode we could talk about. What is a Black nerd, Black geeks, right? That's a whole nother thing that we got to deal with, that I dealt with as a kid. Being in a place where it's not cool to be into comic books, not cool to be into cartoons and toys and stuff like that when we were coming up. Even though everybody was into it, but we all pretended that it wasn't a thing. But now it's kind of becoming a thing. Being into anime, so Black kids who draw, who are dancers, like a Black boy who does ballet. Where does he go?
Oh man, back in the days that was something.
Right. Yeah, that something is a lot that you were talking about there. So where does that boy go? Where does he go? And then there's a whole another episode that we could have about.
And you know what? And a lot of Black boys that had great talents.
Yes. It was stuffed. It was stuffed down because he wasn't a football player.
It was exactly.
Yeah, athletes get all the love. Artists and academics in our community don't get enough. We need to change that.
Yeah, and even back home, you must be sick in your head to go and tell your parent that you want to be a musician.
Yeah.
Like, musician where?
Right.
Because they had those 5 professions that kids had to get involved
into. Doctor, lawyer.
doctor, lawyer, engineers.
Yeah.
And there was another one, I forgot what it was. Wow, those kids could have been great artists, great musician, great dancer, or even trade school.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, because sometimes, you know, we really downgrade trade school.
Yeah, we do. And having a trade, you'll always have work. And you could always start your own business.
Exactly. It's much easier to start your own business with a trade school.
Exactly.
You know, a lot to talk about. Okay, so what role can mentorship programs play in supporting the mental wellness of Black boys?
Mentorship is such an important thing. It's not even, like, when I was younger, I was always in search for a mentor. Now, I had my father, which I will not, I don't want to, you know, sidestep that. But my father, I don't want to say but, and my father, he didn't quite know how to get me to where I need to go because he wasn't an artist. He wasn't from here, right? He was from Trinidad, right? He came here as a grown person. So he didn't know how to navigate and how to get me to where I needed to go. And I used to be in search for him. I used to go out and seek mentors. Like, you know, and people would say, well, I ain't got time for that, you know? So yeah, I think that mentorship is extremely important. You know, I'm also a part of a military fraternity called Kappa Lambda Chi Military Fraternity Incorporated, and we have another another umbrella underneath Kappa Lambda Chi called the Lambda Dream Program, and we do mentorship for Black men,
okay,
specifically Black boys. Yes, so that's important. So yes, absolutely, we need to create more of these opportunities for us to have somewhere where Black boys can go to be mentored.
And believe it or not, those mentors, their voice have power.
Yes.
Especially when you find some good ones that can really lead those boys to the right direction. You will be surprised how much of a difference that will make.
Absolutely. I can't stress how important mentorship is. But you have to be dedicated to it, and not just do it because it's cool to say I'm a mentor, but you have to be dedicated time-wise. And quality, you have to be a quality Black person, a quality mentor, meaning you walk the walk and talk the talk. You can't just say you're going to do this and then you don't represent, you get in trouble yourself, and you know.
And to fully invest in
fully
it.
Invest, yeah.
Like if you were raising your own child.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Okay, so how can we increase access to mental health services for Black boys, particularly in underserved communities?
We need to partner with the schools. We need to partner with the churches. We need to partner with the community centers. Partner with the police department. Partnership is the answer to your question. You know, we need to build a community. What is that? You know, what does it look like to actually? I know a lot of people are not gonna want to hear this. Well, we need to.
Sometimes, you know, it's like, it's okay.
Yeah, well, I mean,
you may not want to hear certain things, but if it is the reality,
yeah. So what would that look like if the elders and the people in the community went down to the police department and actually partnered up with the police and created an atmosphere, you know, that was one of partnership. You know, now I know it's kind of difficult because we're dealing with a certain mentality, the way the police are trained to deal with our communities, but we need to untrain them by, one, not giving them the vision of what they say we are, right? When they come into our communities and police our communities and we resist them and give them, fight back, like in other words, we should fight back, but we are communicating in a way that clashes all the time. That is, that's not healthy. What we should do is, not when something is happening, but we should go down to the police departments and our community leaders and develop a relationship with them in a way that they can't say that we're being the way they say that we're being. They can create the atmosphere where they can just come in our communities and do whatever they want.
You want to have that partnership where they can be part of that village.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you know that it takes a village.
Exactly.
And if we can bring them as members of that community to raise our boys,
Right.
that would have been awesome.
Nobody wants to talk about
instead of look at them or see them as threats.
Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants that as an idea. We just want to see them as the enemy all the time. And if we don't give them the reason to see us, and I know this is a cookie cutter answer, and it's not always gonna work the way we want it, but we gotta at least make the attempt. You know, can you imagine if we're having a block party or something, and the police come, and we know the police's first name by first name, and he knows us, he knows your son. He's like, oh, what's up, Jimmy? You know, and that creates a different environment. You know, now I'm not naive. I know that you know, it doesn't always work out that way, but we at least need to make the attempt.
That will have helped to create a better environment.
Right. At least that's the attempt. That's the idea.
Okay. What role can technology play in increasing access to mental health support for Black boys? And this is my last question.
Well, that's a easy one, because right now social media is the thing, right? And this is the way that we communicate. This is the way that our young people communicate. We as older people need to get on board with it, whether we like it or not. It's the way of the present. I don't want to say the way of the future. It's the way of the present. So we need to just get involved with social media and all of the projects that we're doing. We need to learn how to communicate through that. And you know, we got the websites, we have our social media, we have you know, this is the way of the present. We need to get on board.
And we have to pay a lot of attention, because social media really can, don't get me wrong, there are some in everything. There are positive impact and there are negative impacts.
It's about how you use it. It's a tool. The other part, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to say this before I forget. The other part is the way technology is going, cybersecurity is a big part of it. And the more the internet grows, the more there's need for cybersecurity, and there's more jobs coming up. So we need to get our boys involved in cybersecurity and in tech, you know, just learning the different aspects of technology as opportunities and jobs. There's a lot of opportunities out there. So, but we don't see ourselves in that. We see ourselves as athletes and rappers and stuff like that. But we need to get involved in tech, you know, a STEM, right? All of the STEM, or I would say STEAM, I'll add art in there. The STEAM is a thing that's being created and it's growing. So we need to get our boys involved, because everybody else is getting involved except our boys. So we need to get in there.
Okay, so what one example, or what is one way that you will encourage people to get our boys involved?
The communication, the talking about, like during the mentorship programs that we have, during our mentors, you know, when we find the mentors, it would behoove us to have mentors who are actually in that business. So that's what I was talking about earlier. Our boys are more about show and prove. So imagine you have a son whose mentor is in cybersecurity or is an engineer, and that's the mentor, you know, and he's like, this is what you can, and the mentor could actually be showing him what he's doing. So we need to look for those, when we're looking for our mentors, when we're vetting our mentors, that's how we do. We get people who are actually doing the things that we're asking our boys to do, not just somebody talking. Say, you know, you should be a doctor. Well, what do you know about being a doctor? I don't know, but you should be a doctor. Are you a doctor? No, but you should be a doctor. That doesn't make sense. So we need to show and prove.
Okay. But at the end of the day, so it's like, can we really, as a mentor, can we really, or should we place ourselves in a situation to just point blank that you should be a doctor, you should be a social worker?
No, we shouldn't. What we should do is pay attention to what the child wants and see if we could help that child get there, if it's something.
Help the child navigate.
Yeah, navigate. Now, if you have a child who doesn't know what they want to do, our program should be designed in a way that helps the child find what they want to do, or what they can do, and what they're capable of doing. And then if the child does know what he wants to do, and if that thing is legal and moral, we help the child get there, right? As mentors, we're like, let me show you the path. Like, I envision a program where I have a digital Rolodex of Black men that can call up and say, look, I have this boy who he wants to be a tech engineer, right? He wants to be a cybersecurity technician. I could go through my phone and be like, hey, I need you to come down here. I got a kid I want you to mentor. Right there. Boom. I oversimplified it, but that's the idea we want. That's how we want it.
Yeah.
You know, or and I'm not even against the athletes in hip hop and stuff. We got a kid who's really good at hip hop and he's a dope MC, and he's actually has what it takes, not just, you know, a run of the mill, but he's actually a talented kid who's learning how to engineer, produce beats and stuff. Hey, DJ so-and-so, I need you to come down. I got this kid, he's good. You need to help this kid. You know, so it's all, like you said earlier, it's balance. It is balance. So there's nothing wrong with the athletes, and it's just that we need to show that there's more to it than we're more than just athletes and rappers. We're also authors. You know, kids who want to write. Creative writing is another thing we didn't talk about. That's a whole nother podcast.
Okay, so I don't have any more questions. And anything else that you want to say about your business? Final thoughts on boys and mental health?
Well, first I want to say thank you for having me on your show, and I really appreciate you inviting me into your beautiful studio / home. Yes, Black boys' mental health is very important. We talked about prison and trying to keep them out of that, or trying to have them come back from it in a way that is healthy. We need to, you know, keep that same energy for our boys who come back from college. Right? We need balance. We need to balance this whole thing that we have here through a strong backbone, a strong community. Build a foundation that makes it easy for us to come together and pull all our resources and make it happen.
Okay.
darktruth22.com, artofvalor.org.
Okay, now it's my turn. I want to thank you so much for taking time off your busy schedule. I know it was not easy. So, but you found a way to be here today, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And come again. Come again.
My pleasure. I will.
It was with you, Dr. Hyppolite, with your world.